Hey, I have crawled out of the swamp to make a video about something that I've been thinking a lot about recently as I've been playing a lot of Minecraft SMP. Today I want to talk about what I think is Minecraft's biggest problem and why I think a lot of people that haven't tried the game point to as their reason why they haven't tried it, and something that has definitely bothered me recently. A little context to what I'm playing in the background is important here, so before we dive into the topic at hand, what I'm playing is a mod pack called Vault Hunters. We've been playing an SMP with this mod pack for a couple weeks now, and essentially what it is you create these vaults, which are essentially dungeons you go into, and you decide how much you want to risk when you're going in there. Throughout the dungeon, you're able to loot all these unique items to the vault, which allow you to craft things once you exit the vault. Now, whatever you go in with, you are risking, because the only options are A, going in, looting what you want, and bailing out through the portal you came in by, completing the objective of the vault, which can be a multitude of things, mainly a boss, and defeating him, rewarding you a boss crate and all the loot that you looted throughout the run. Or thirdly, dying and having everything you enter in with wiped completely. I'm not kidding when I say this. This feels exactly like a Hypixel minigame or something very close to it. It is so fun how crazy you can get with all the abilities and just getting grimy, looting your way through the vault or attacking the boss in this case. But man, is it fun. I highly recommend it. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Playing this mod pack with a bunch of my IRL friends has really made me think about this quite a bit recently, but I think Minecraft's biggest problem is the lack of things to do. Now, stop. Hold on. It sounds really stupid when you say there's not enough things to do in Minecraft and it's a completely open sandbox game. But hear me out. I've been playing this game for so long and I've gone through all of the updates that Microsoft or Mojang at the time, or still Mojang, or I don't know what the logistics are at this point, have pushed out over the years. The updates aren't frequent, and frankly, there's only been a couple super iconic ones. Usually an update will contain some awesome stuff regardless, but some things push the amount of content in the game vastly more than others. And through all these updates, we're still at a point where I just feel like there's not a lot of actual progression in Minecraft. And I think a lot of people hear that and say, well, it doesn't need to have progression. But I think it's incredibly important to have a game that is constantly gripping your attention and making you want to progress in some way towards a goal. When we really look at vanilla Minecraft, what is there actually that you can't do in about a day? The more experience you get at a game, obviously you get quicker at getting to endgame, but the problem with Minecraft is that you can get to the endgame so fast. I mean, man, we have people speedrunning the game in less than 10 minutes. And after you beat the Ender Dragon, yeah, sure, there's a couple things you can do. You can fight withers, you can go to the Endlands and get an Elytra and a shulker, and that makes your quality of life incredible. And I think the Elytra is one of the coolest things in the entire game, but it's still more like quality of life and just general ease of exploration and storing your gear and moving your gear. It's not like actual progression. You see what I'm saying? There's not a wide variety of gear in the game. There's frankly not even that many enchants in the game that give the gear that we do have a little bit of uniqueness. With very little effort and just shearing some sheep, you could go bed bomb in the nether for like an hour and have yourself full netherite, which is the best armor in the game. I haven't played Caves and Cliffs, and I know there's a lot in that, so just keep that in mind. It came down to either loading up a vanilla world and playing Caves and Cliffs update with everyone, or playing this mod pack, and I think the mod pack just grabbed us all a little bit more. So I'm speaking only up until Caves and Cliffs, but there's just not a lot of variance to the gear that you acquire. It's kind of the same path every single time. You have certain steps that you check off your list, and before you know it, you're fully geared and kind of unstoppable. And that's where your progression in vanilla really halts. Now, there's a lot of artificial progression that I'm going to call it. Yeah, you can make your base bigger and more organized and more elaborate. You can create some automatic farms or build giant cities. But again, that's the player forcing themselves to find things to do versus there just being content that drives the player, that excites the player to complete it. I think that's the problem with some sandbox games, that they can hide behind the fact that they are this open, unlimited access to anything you want kind of game. Instead of the developers making a bunch of content that is really diverse, elaborate, exciting for the player to look forward to completing, they kind of just push it onto the player to force themselves to find stuff to do. And I think that's why in the past we've had such troubles keeping SMPs going. Well, if you want to do any of these mega projects in vanilla Minecraft, it just takes so much time to do. And while I have a lot of time, in fact, infinite amounts of time, my friends do not. So that kind of peters out when they run out of the, the very basic core Minecraft things to do. And so our SMPs usually shut down after a couple weeks because everyone was just kind of done with the content that's available in the game without putting in that huge extra grind to do crazy things. That's why, frankly, I can't even play vanilla Minecraft anymore, because you get to a point where you played it enough times where you're efficient enough that it takes you only a couple days to fully get endgame ready in an SMP setting. In fact, in the past couple worlds we've done, I've gotten bored so quickly that I've forced myself to start building, and that's something I've never really done in the past, because A, I was terrible at it and I never really attempted it, and B, I felt like in the past, the act of getting gear was enough. But then once you've done that, and you come back, the act of getting gear is no longer enough, and you have to find other things like I mentioned. So I've just started building and trying to learn how to build things. But I am improving, and it's been really fun building. But that just showed myself that I had to try increasingly harder to keep myself engaged with the game. Now you look at this mod pack. Everything is locked behind the completion of vanilla Minecraft. You have to kill the Ender Dragon, you have to get to an end city, and you have to get purple blocks in the end city to start the vault. And what this does is so important for the game. It keeps you completely engaged to a goal that you have in front of you. Everything you do before this is all preparation for what you know is going to come later. It keeps the thrill of the game alive all the way through base Minecraft, and the thrill only gets heightened when you finally get to start the entire mod pack. To make it even better in this mod pack, the mods themselves are grouped into categories and locked for the player to unlock through crafting recipes that you get from the vault loot. So they only give you a couple base mods and everything else is locked, and you have to create knowledge stars to choose the mods you want to use. That in itself adds an immense amount of uniqueness to the experience. Additionally, there's all this crazy loot that you can get that actually matters in upgrading your character, including a bunch of talent trees that have active and passive abilities that you upgrade through the tiers and then specialize into more things that make your certain build that much more powerful. All of that keeps you locked in and looking forward to grinding a specific thing out. In no way am I saying that Microsoft should implement a lot of the things from the mods, because let's face it, certain mods are so overwhelming. I mean, you take a look at any of the very technical mods, the automation mods, I am too stupid to understand most of that stuff. So it gets very overwhelming very quickly. And that is something that they would like to avoid at all costs, because they try to make Minecraft as marketable to the widest audience they can, which is a good thing. It is a good thing. But I think there are things that they could take from these RPG style mod packs, or just mod packs in general, that immensely would improve the base vanilla Minecraft quality of life and just overall experience in the game. I think that they could take so many of these things and add so much value to the progression of vanilla Minecraft. I'm going to quickly compare this to another game, Terraria. There are a lot of things about the two games that are remarkably similar, but what Terraria really goes above and beyond in is the progression aspect of the game. You are constantly the entire time working towards getting all this awesome wide variety of loot that allows you to kill bosses and then get ingredients to summon higher tier bosses and higher tier bosses and higher tier bosses, and you work your way all the way up through all of these super unique, super cool bosses while you're upgrading your gear. You're obviously building out your base, you're building out the traders, and then even when you beat everything, you essentially just go into New Game Plus, and it just gets even harder and harder from there. So there's always something to look forward to. I guess to wrap this up, what I would say, it's always nice to have something on the horizon when you're playing a video game. Something that you can look at and know, I can't wait to get there because that looks really fun. Bye.